that test live on the video. But congratulations to Ricky. I already celebrated him. He passed his GED math, so now he's preparing for his science test. So congratulations to him. All right, everybody, we should have this out. And let me just explain to you the FOIL method. Some of you might have heard this from your instructors, other math instructors, maybe, maybe not, but it is a way to multiply binomials is what you may also hear as well. It's called binomial. So the FOIL method stands for first, outer, inner, and last. The first, the outer, the inner, and then the last. And let me make sure I have, there we go, so I can pay attention to make sure I don't get out of the camera, because I do that often when I'm writing on the board. So I'm going to try to make sure I stay in camera. Now, excuse me on that one. Okay. So it's the first, the outer, the inner, and the last. And I'm standing in front of it, so let me put it up here so you can see it. Okay, and this is what we call the FOIL method. Now that gives you an opportunity to see both me and the information. All right, now you use this when you see what we call two algebraic mathematical expressions right next to each other to be multiplied, pretty much, okay? And they're in brackets or parentheses. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. So we'll start with example number 1, which is on the page of 554 of the textbook. And let me write it out, see if I can remember it. Okay, so we have x plus 1 times x plus 4. Okay, we have x plus 1 times x plus 4. Now, for those of you who have not been in my class and you're wondering, why do I say times or multiplication? Okay, whenever you see products or terms, I said products, the product is multiplication. So whenever you see two terms right next to each other without, okay, an operational symbol, and there are 4 types of mathematical operations. It's addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Those are our 4 mathematical operations. So whenever you see terms or brackets or something inside of parentheses and they're right next to each other, the rule of thumb is that you're going to multiply, okay, which is the product of something. So I'm going to put up here, you have addition, okay, subtraction, multiplication, and division. All right, so with those 4 mathematical operations, addition is the sum of things, right? Y'all looking at me like y'all don't know the answer to that. The sum of things. Subtraction is the difference of things, okay? Addition is the sum of things. Subtraction is the difference. When you multiply, you're getting the product. And we're not talking about purchasing items, okay? You're getting the product of things. And then when you're dividing, you're getting the, what's the answer? Quotient. The quotient. Yes. The quotient. Okay. So there are 4 types of mathematical operations, and I wrote them real small, so hopefully you can see it, and I apologize for that. So an addition is the sum of things. Subtraction is the difference of things. Multiplication is the product of things. And division is the quotient of things, okay? So this is multiplication, which means we're going to get the product of these terms, the product, okay? And we're going to do so with first, outer, inner, and last. So I'm going to erase this and kind of put it out up top so I can write it large enough for everybody can see it. So everyone can see it, even on video. So our first one is x plus 1 times x plus 4, right? So now we're going to get the product of these 2 nomials, okay, or 2 terms, or 2 brackets. So we're going to use the FOIL method, first, the outer, the inner, and the last. Okay? So we're going to, and it's similar to distribution, okay, which is what we did yesterday in yesterday's lesson with simplifying expressions. So our first two terms in the parentheses is x and x, okay? So x times x is x squared. So our first terms in multiplying equals x squared, okay? Because our first two terms is x and x. So x times x is x squared. Now, the next we want to do is our outer two terms. So our outer terms is x and 4. So x times 4 is 4x, because the proper way of writing that is the number always comes before the letter. Okay? So the outer terms is x times 4 is 4x. Okay? X times 4 is 4x. All right, now we want to do our inner terms, which I call like the meat, right? The outer terms is like the bread, the sandwich, that bread, and the inner terms is like the meat and the cheese, right? So 1 times x is 1x. Okay. And then our last two terms, which is the 1 and the 4, positive 1 and positive 4. So 1 times 4 is, you're going to whisper it to me, huh? 4. 4. Thank you, it's 4. They can't see you, you can talk. All right, it's 4. So then I know that I'm not talking to myself. Is that okay? Okay, thank you. Say something. Laugh, giggle, anything. All right. So now our first two terms is x and x. So x times x is x squared. Our outer two terms is x and 4. So x times 4 is 4x. Our inner two terms is 1 and x. 1 times x is 1x. And our last two terms is 1 and 4. 1 times 4 is 4. Okay? We're not finished, but at least now we have distributed or multiplied our terms. Okay? So now we write it into an algebraic expression. So we have x squared plus 4x plus 1x plus 4. So all I did was I just wrote it into an algebraic expression. Okay? And all of our numbers are positive, so it's plus, 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 plus. Well, plus, plus, plus. Let me say that. Yes. But if it was a negative, it would have been different. It would have been plus, negative, plus. It depends on if it's a negative. And we're going to use that or do an example of one like that. So it's x squared plus 4x plus 1x plus 4. Now, based on our previous lesson on simplifying expressions, and you can look at that video, the question we must ask ourselves is, do we have like terms? And the answer is yes. We have two terms that are like because we have two terms that have a coefficient and a variable. And remember, a coefficient is a number with a letter, which is the variable. So the 4x and the 1x are like terms. So we can combine them. Okay? We cannot combine it with x squared because the exponent is different. We cannot combine it with the number 4 because it's a constant. It doesn't have a variable with it. But we can combine 4x with 1x. And 4 plus 1 is what? All day long. Okay? So we rewrite it as x squared plus 5x plus 4. And that's our final answer. That's our final answer. All right. Y'all got that face like, what? Let's do another one. Okay. All right, we're going to do number 2. Those of you who are following with us and you have the textbook, the next one we're going to do is number 2. And I'm going to write it on the board. X plus 6 times x plus 3. Okay. X plus 6 times x plus 3. Okay. And of course, as we talked about it, we're going to use the what? The FOIL method. Right? Okay. So our first two terms are, in each bracket is what? X, correct. So we have x plus x times x, is what? X squared. Yes, sir. X and x. So x times x is x squared. All right. Next, we're going to do our outer terms, which is like the bread. And our two outer terms are what?
6 and 3.
No, sir.
Oh.
The outer is like the sandwich. X and 3. Mm-hmm. So this is the first and the outer, the last. So it's like the sandwich, our outer two terms. So x times 3 is 3x. Okay. The inner terms is going to be what? Inside is what?
6 and x.
Yes, sir. The 6 and the x. Okay. So 6 times x is 6x. And then our last two terms. Somebody? Ma'am? You was close. The last two numbers in each parentheses. Huh?
1 and 1.
Up here.
6 and 3.
Yes. 6 and 3. Yes. So 6 times 3 is 18. Yes, sir. Okay. Now we have done our distribution. Okay. We did it through our FOIL method. Next, we need to write out our algebraic expression. So we're going to do x squared plus 3x plus 6x plus 18. And the question we ask ourselves is, can we combine like terms? The answer is yes. The like terms we have is 3x and 6x. Okay? So 3 plus 6 is what? 9, correct. So we'll rewrite it as x squared plus 9x plus 18. Yes, sir. All right, my paper fell. All right. Oh, I had one there. I just could have got that one. So now let's do number 3. Number 3 is a little different because our integers are negatives, right? We have the negatives. So let's try it with the next one that we have, number 3. I'll write it out so I can have a little bit of room on the board here. All right, and again, for those of you who are with us, we're on page 554 of the Stegvon 2014 prep book for the GED test. It's the gold yellow book. I don't know if I have one around here, but it's in my office, but that's what we're using right now. So definitely go to that page. Our students already have their books here. So that's where we are. Number 3, and remember we're using the FOIL method, right? So I kind of gave me a little bit more space. And so number 3 says x minus 5 times 2x minus 7. X minus 5 times 2x minus 7. All right, so the first thing we do is we multiply our two first terms. We multiply our two first terms, which are, it's actually x and 2x. Our first two terms are x and 2x. So x times 2x, which is the same thing as 1 times 2. The x is by itself, but it has a 1 in front of it. So that's going to be 2x squared. Okay? It's just like a phantom 1. It's like a 1 there. Because 1 times x is x. Remember, we talked about that in our simplifying expressions on our previous lesson. All right, so x times 2x is 2x squared. 2x squared. All right. Now, our outer terms is x times negative 7. So x times negative 7 is negative 7x. Negative 7x. Okay? Now we have our inner two terms, which are what? What are our inner two terms?
5 times 7. No,
That's the
plus.
end. Say the question again.
Our inner, we're on the I, inner. Our inner two terms.
X
2x.
times plus 2.
One more time. Inside. What's inside?
X and
X
2
and 2x.
Right here. Negative 5 and 2x.
Oh, 5.
Okay. Right here are our inner terms. Negative 5 times 2. So a negative times a positive is a what?
Negative.
Negative. So negative 5 times 2 is what?
3.
Negative 10. Multiplication.
10.
Negative 10. Yes. So it's negative 10x. Negative 10x. And then our last two terms are 5, negative 5, and negative 7. So a negative times a negative is a positive. So 5 times 7 is what?
35.
Yes, sir. 35. Thank you. So now we write it out in our algebraic expression. Okay? So we have 2x squared minus 7x minus 10x plus 35. Okay? So now we ask the question, can we combine like terms? The answer is yes, we can. We have a negative 7x and negative 10x. So if your checking account has negative $7 in it and you go purchase something for $10, your account is going to be what?
That's a negative 10 now. I mean, negative
Negative what?
17.
Yes, ma'am. Don't do that. Yes, that's illegal. Don't be doing stuff like that. Don't y'all do that. All right? So let's combine. We're going to have 2x squared minus 17x plus 35. And that's our final answer. All right. We'll do one more before we wrap it up, and then we'll let you work it out at the house. And of course, you can always connect with us to find out more. So let's do number 5. I want to do number 5. It's a little different. We have 2 different types of variables. So we're going to do number 5. We'll skip 4. We'll skip number 4 and do number 5. It's a little different, so I can give you something good to go home with, all right? Number 5 says x minus 4 times y plus 6. Okay? So let's go ahead and put that on the board. Just rewrite it. All right, so number 5, x minus 4 times, what did I say? Y plus 6, right? Y plus 6, very good. So our first 2 terms is x and y, so x times y is xy. xy. Okay. Our outer 2 terms is x and 6, so it's x times 6 is 6x, because it's positive. Our inner 2 terms are negative 4 and y, so negative 4 times y is negative 4y. And then our last 2 terms is going to be negative 4 and positive 6. Negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 6 is 24. So it's going to be negative 24. That's correct. Now we rewrite it out where we have xy plus 6x minus 4y minus 24. And the question we asked is, do we have like terms? The answer is no. We don't have any like terms, so we can't combine. That's the final answer. Okay? XY is different than 6X, which is different than 4Y, which is different than 24. So we have 4 different types of terms. We cannot combine them. That's the final answer. All right, there it is. All right, everyone, thank you for watching us live on Facebook. That wraps up this lesson for today on how to use the FOIL method. We're all into algebra. We'll do a little bit more algebra next week, but we'll be wrapping algebra up and getting ready for functions. Next week is October, right? We have one more day or so left next week. October the 30th is actually September the 30th is actually next Monday. So we are moving right into the month of October. We're on schedule. Those of you who have joined us and you are part of this schedule, remember our goal is to prepare to take math in the month of October. So we started off and launched and kicked off with basic math, word problems, proportions, those types of things, fractions. We moved into geometry and we spent some time on geometry. Now we are doing algebra. We will wrap up algebra on Monday and start our month of October in functions, dealing with graphs, dealing with the quadratic functions, so that you will understand how to get the slope and all those types of things. Now, if you have not been watching us, or if you're just not joining us, you can go to my website and click and watch it on our YouTube channel, or you can go and just scroll down on this Facebook page if you're on Facebook and see previous videos. And of course, like I'm saying, if you're on YouTube, scroll down and you can see previous videos on that as well. Now, if the videos aren't going to help you gets over that hump, and you feel like you need one-on-one tutoring, we do offer one-on-one tutoring as well as classes here in Duncanville, Texas. And again, for more information, you can visit our website, which is www.opmtrainingschool.education. All right, if you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, give us some hearts. We appreciate that. Share this video with someone that you know that it will be helpful. And I want to say this to you, it is now time for you to get your GED. Make this your Christmas present. And again, for more information, go to our website. It's www.opmtrainingschool.education.